Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode on the Zinni, are you fucking serious, Zen? Zinni, are you serious?
Redo, bro.
Zinni, are you fucking Zen? You gotta be out of your fucking mind,
Wait,
Zen.
I didn't know what was going on. I thought you dragged me in because the intro was over.
No, I dragged you in to like have here and quiet, and then we could intro you.
I
apologize.
Listen, let's restart it, guys. That's
my
my
bad.
bad.
No,
that's a
on me.
casual party foul.
I should have dragged
No,
you in before we started the intro.
we're letting it go now. You ruined the intro. You ruined the intro. I'm just kidding. We're back with another episode of the Flick. I'm joined by my friend, my companion, my girl. Guys, you already know who the fuck it is, guys. It's Ben Genesee. Ben, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Flew back home, as everybody who's watching this live or pre-recorded. We're doing a live show on Sunday, so I came back home for the show. Weather's been kind of trash for anyone that's been in the tri-state area. It's been terrible today. But listen, vibes are high, Tom. I'm home. My dog's here, and I'm excited. We've been off. What was the last time we did a show? Too long.
Dude, a couple weeks ago, man. It was a couple weeks. Bro, I've been feeding to get a show out. I've been feeding.
Same.
Just because I love talking COD. I just love doing it. I love talking to the chat. I love talking about Call of Duty. I love talking to all the pros and stuff. Like, it's just a lot of fun to me. So just being able to do this show makes my fucking day. You know what I'm saying? But it is good to be back home, Ben. I'm back home as well. I'm in Jersey. Ben's in New York. We're obviously with our family for the weekend. We like Ben said, we are doing a live show in New Jersey on Sunday, right after the OpTic New York match. So there's gonna be some supporters there, some fans who will be in the stands. Listen, guys, this is the first time we're doing anything like this. It might be a little bit more suity. Like, we might be like on, I'm gonna be on a couch and stuff. Like, we're gonna have a whole setup and everything. I don't know, like, if it's gonna be like me dancing and going crazy and shit like that. It's our first time doing anything like this. We just thought it'd be something really cool. And we're gonna give it a go. We don't know. Hopefully,
I'm hoping it's not a clusterfuck.
Yeah, hopefully, guys. Hopefully, it's not a clusterfuck or there's no problems. But at the end of the day, at least we're trying something new. So even if there were to have some, be some problems or something bad was gonna happen, then fuck it, man. At least we're trying something new. Worst comes to worst, the show falls apart, and me and Ben go back to my house or something, and we turn the stream on. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, Tom, and before the show, for chat, Tom and I had $100 riding on the match yesterday. He had Denmark, I had England.
Listen.
A little bit streetwise, a little dive from Sterling. Go ahead.
Listen, I knew that England was the better team going up against Denmark. I thought it would just be fun to bet against Ben against England. You know what I'm saying? So I went with Denmark, and when they scored the first free kick, first of all, beautiful free kick.
That was a banger free kick.
Oh, it was phenomenal. World-class free kick. I thought they actually had a fucking chance, and then Sterling went down. He didn't even get fucking touched. You have all these England fans making fun of the fucking Italians for diving and shit, and they fucking dived their way home.
Listen, Tom,
it's coming home. They're diving home.
In modern soccer, if you're a defender in the box and you're sticking your leg out and the guy's going down, you're asking the referee to make the call. And the way the VAR works is they call it a penalty and it's not a clear, obvious error, they're not going to overturn it.
But
it's
I don't
pretty
understand,
fugazi.
Ben. How do you look
it's
at
pretty
VAR?
fugazi.
How do you not look at the VAR and understand that the guy fucking dove? You know
but
what I'm saying?
That's just the rule, man. Mark Clattenburg, who is a pretty good ref, does like the ESPN coverage.
Apparently not.
For the Euros. And he said that that's just the issue with the call. It is what it is. I think, candidly, England deserved to probably win that game. It is what it is. But regardless,
they were the better team.
Listen, I'm 100 richer, but we're going double or nothing. England versus Italy on Sunday. We're going to watch it before
and listen,
the live show. It's going to be great.
Wait, you have England, Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got England.
It's coming home, man.
Listen. I'm a huge Italy fan. Obviously, right? I think England might be the better team going into it, but I think Italy definitely has a shot at beating them. Listen, you know how football works, Ben. You know how it is. It could be anyone's game on a given day. And Italians got the heart, man. They know how to fucking do it. You know what I'm saying?
This Italian team is very good.
Mm-hmm. They are very good. The only thing that worries me is, they got some old guys on the defense. You got Bonucci and Collini and them. But they're doing their thing over there, Ben. I'm going to be honest. They look pretty good.
Yeah, well, Southgate ain't starting Sancho or Jack Grealish, so it's looking decent.
Wait, are England the favorites?
I wonder. I think England probably the better favorites right now because they're home.
Probably.
England's played pretty much the whole tournament at home.
Okay, can we talk about that too? That's fucking bullshit. Why the fuck is England home?
Because they had this genius idea for this tournament when they were doing it last year to have games all over Europe. I don't know how St. Petersburg and Baku count as Europe, but okay, fine. And so it's been all over, and because of that freak scheduling, England's played all but 1 or 2 games at Wembley, and their record, I don't believe they have lost in a tournament setting. They have not lost ever in a 90-minute window at Wembley, ever. They've had 5 times, I think it's gone extra time.
Yeah.
But they've never lost. So they've also been playing well
It's
at this tournament. And they've actually been playing better away from Wembley, which is kind of funny.
I just don't like that a final game has a home advantage. You know what I'm saying? Like they're in the middle, bro. The whole
It's
stadium's
gonna
going
happen
for
though.
England. The whole stadium's gonna be
there
for
are times
England.
where the host country is made to
Oh
a
yeah,
final.
no. Regardless, that's no excuse.
Yeah.
That's no excuse. You know, it's
So.
no excuse at all. I mean, regardless, Italy, they got to come out and play their game. I think it's gonna be a great match, Ben. It's gonna be the same day as the IRL flank on Sunday, so we're gonna have two screens.
We're gonna be vibing.
We're gonna be vibing over here in Jersey. You know, we're gonna be doing our thing. Yeah. Somebody said it too. Spinazzola, whatever. What's his name? Spinazzola. He's injured, right? The right back or the left back for Italy.
He didn't his Achilles, which you hate to see.
Yeah, and he's like, he was on fire. He was doing his fucking thing. Like, that's such a big loss for us. That's a big loss. Like, he was a really good player. So, listen, man, we got some good, some young guys, some old guys on the Italy squad, but I think it's gonna be a great match. But guys, we're here to talk COD. We're here to talk fucking COD. You guys already know what's going on. We have Anthony Zinni, aka Methods, joining us today. Methods, how are you?
I'm good, man. I won't lie. I slept through the entirety of the Faze in London
well, you didn't
match.
really miss anything, so you're good.
Yeah, but don't worry. I watched the OpTic match. So basically, I had to wake up early for a meeting, so I took a nap. I was in and out, and then. But yeah, I was very shocked to see Faze 3-0. I couldn't believe it. I thought London were going to put up an incredible fight, and then OpTic versus Paris, man. I'm shocked OpTic won.
Oh yeah, you're shocked. Yeah, a lot of shockers today, Zin. A lot of shockers. Yeah. Listen, guys, I know the matches were quick. We're obviously gonna run through them and say whatever we gotta say about them. We also got some other stuff we want to talk about. There's been some player drama. You see Crimsix, he's been going absolutely rogue. The guy's a fucking maniac. So we definitely want to talk about some of the shit that he's been saying and kind of give our opinions on that. Obviously gonna give some predictions and talk about some of these new rosters moving forward. But let's get right into it, man. We're kicking things off today. We have the London Royal Ravens going up against Atlanta Faze. And, Ben, anything in the veto system, I mean, it's the same old shit to me. It doesn't look like anything's too crazy.
One thing I think we're going to see, I think the only remark I'll say on this, and we talked about it, I think, after the show, after the major, was I think we're going to see Faze kind of do some weird stuff in the vetoes this stage. They've already got first seed locked down. They obviously want to win this tournament in this stage, but they're going to experiment a lot in these matches to try and, get reps on the maps that are not the strongest in their pool. So like to see how Checkmate Hardpoint go in there. It's not a map that normally gets into sets with them. Playing standoff again as well. They kind of struggled with a little bit during the last stage, although I think they won it in that final. So other than that, good. You're going to see Garrison whenever these two teams play it, and yeah, we'll get into it. First map was actually probably I thought it was the more interesting of the three maps, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it was very back and forth. I mean, London had the lead all the way up to the end of the map. It was very surprising. I think London just came out really strong, and FaZe looked a little flat. But, again, it was back and forth the whole time. London never really got carried away through this first map. Like, they never really built themselves a big lead. Like, I felt like FaZe was holding on the whole time. And at the very end, I think FaZe's discipline just helped them bring this one back in. But, again, like, these FaZe guys, when I just watch them play, I know we say it a lot. Like, I feel like we repeat ourselves a lot, but these guys are hard to beat, man. These guys are really hard to beat because I feel like even when they're having an off day, they're still winning. You know what I'm saying? Even when they're not playing the best, even when I see, little mistakes that they're doing, they're still finding ways to win. And I think that just comes down to their talent, right?
Yeah, it's because when their team works off, it doesn't really matter because depending on their opponents, right? Unless they're playing like an Ultra or a Dallas right now, in my opinion, maybe in New York. Obviously, we haven't seen the real New York in a bit. They can just out-talent everybody. Like, they don't even have to be waiting for each other. You'll have Simp run through, get two. Without a player like me to shut them down, there's just not much you can do.
100%. Ben, we do have an echo coming through. I think your mic is very sensitive right now. Just a heads up.
I'll fix it real quick.
No, you're good. Do your thing. You also look like you're in heaven right now. You up there with Jesus? What's going on,
where
Ben?
Are you in Texas?
No, I'm home.
He's home. He's in New York.
Regardless of my situation, I think the one thing to kind of take the flip side of that is when you play a team like FaZe, you have to take advantage of the times where they're making mistakes. And I felt like there were points in the first map and the second map where I think London could have made or taken better advantage of the situation. Will kind of really sort of missed chances. This was obviously a 3-0, but I think London could have definitely have won this first map if they had just sort of played some of these P4s and P5s a little bit better.
Well, it starts with number one. If London wants a chance to beat a team like FaZe, if they want to somehow take these guys to the wire, they have to come out and win the first map. I mean, yeah, they can come out and win 2-3-4, 2-3-5, win the SIDs in the control. But if you win that first map against a team like FaZe, it sets you up. It sets you up to take the series, but they couldn't close out. I think towards the end of the game, I think it was just a discipline from FaZe to just make sure they stayed ahead of the rotations. They didn't bite a lot. Like, they made sure they just, held and set up and got some good time. And, bro, watching a BZ make plays and Sim make plays around plane and seeing what they're able to do and how they work off one another, it's incredible to see. We actually have a listening from Atlanta Faze, and I thought it was fantastic. So let's go in and listen to their comms.
Go back out. One shot.
Full flash.
Empty front red, dead.
Nice and one around.
Time.
Good wall.
Time. We call no trophy on time. No trophy on time.
Back in. Yeah, Shawnee's good wall. He jumped down. He's gonna watch it.
I spawned here.
I'm going top right. I'm going top right.
Oh, he shot me.
Wood.
Hold on some time.
Oh, hit me back after.
Come on now, guys.
Start taking away from working a little bit.
Yeah.
No 30 on. No trophy on time.
I need
Sidewood in time. Sidewood in front time.
He's on their stairs.
I'll play it.
John
For one dead.
Dead. One shot after.
Yo, he's top wood.
He's on the wall.
He's on the wall.
We're all dead.
Nice.
Pushing you.
Okay, get a full CP. I'll hard block. I'm playing stacks, alright?
Push my steps. I'm pushing
Make
my
sure
steps.
you're top wood. I died.
Lane top plane.
Top wood. Top wood.
Okay, back up.
Front red dead.
You're good. I got time.
He's top plane after. Hey, could be up here chowing. I don't see him.
Front wood.
Try to hold your blue in.
Try.
After.
After.
I spawned peanut to me.
I'm
Alec, I'm dead.
I
got naded. Alex, stay down. Alex, stay down.
Alex, one shot.
Alex, stay down. Alex, stay down.
I got double nade.
Yeah, they could have hit me back.
Alex, are side down.
I'm in the steps.
No one text down, buddy.
They're both absolute. They're fucking mannequin. Chris is pitching. Go. Watch it. I blew him. Good fish.
Stay.
I'm
Calm down a little bit.
I got stacked. They're flying on wood. Help.
So great listening. I think they sound good. It's cool to me to hear a Simp, step up and kind of be a leader, try and get everybody to calm down a little bit. I mean, they were in a good spot. I think that was like the biggest lead London got right there. Going back into that P1, they had like a little bit of a lead, but FaZe, they do a good job just contesting that P1 hill. They rotate, they get there early, and they end up bringing it back a little bit. But again, just very back and forth, Ben, until the end of the map.
They have a good mix of like Abizi's like very like, I wouldn't say monotone, but he's very calm. Like Alex, stay down. You have Cell, obviously, who just sprays comms at fucking light years, and then you have the backline and Alec. I don't know. I just like their comms a lot. They're just very.
It's a good balance.
Yeah, it's like there's no. If all four of them were spamming comms, it would sound a lot worse. But there's like a good balance.
And then I want to talk about London, I want to talk about London a little bit. Listen, Afro can play. That kid's good, bro.
That is good.
I personally think that kid's really, really good. I think London, like if they're gonna, focusing on the team, maybe I'm sure they're thinking about next year. They have to be, right? I mean, who's not? I mean, if I'm in the London camp, I'm thinking about next year already. And I'm personally like Afro's my guy. Like I'm personally gonna try and build the team around Afro. The kid gets a fresh cut. He's looking good. He's feeling good, and he's doing his fucking thing. It's just, finding the pieces around him. I mean, Alex, he started off hot to kick off this map. He slowed down a lot. Shawnee's been really struggling to me. I feel like he looks off. Like, Shawnee doesn't look like himself. I don't know if it's like a confidence thing. But, Ben, I know you're a big fan of Shawnee. He just hasn't been playing well, in my opinion. I feel like he hasn't really been putting down the numbers.
My thing with Sean, so here's what I think if I'm London. First off is I think they probably have some they could probably re-sign Zero. I think they were really unlucky with how the situation played out this year. I think Trey would bring a lot to the culture of the team, so would like them to give a spin on that. I know they have a player in Nasty. Would like to see what he's can do at the CDL level. I think agreed. Like I think they have a lot of really interesting pieces going into next season. Sean's kind of one of those players that I think they'll start out with, but I'm curious if he'll kind of fit with the overall vibe after a real training camp in the off season. But I think they're where they were last year, man. Like. They're a couple of pieces away from being a winning team.
Winning team?
Yeah, a winning team. Because right now they're not winning.
Oh, I thought you meant like can win events.
No. I mean like in terms of being like a contender.
Okay.
I think the tough thing is what to do with Alex. I just think that he hasn't been Alex we know of old. I think in this series he got put in the Atlanta Faze blender. We've seen a lot of players over the last couple of years. Would like to see him at some point in this stage start to show that form of old. Otherwise, London's going to have a difficult decision in the offseason whether to keep or move on.
I feel for Alex, man. Yeah, I feel for Alex, right? Because he obviously had some personal issues, right? And he took, like at least 2 to 3 months off, right? If I'm not mistaken. And to come back into the league after 2 to 3 months, I don't care how much time you put in, it's very, very hard to find rhythm and get back to a level that you can compete with top teams.
Dude, he's let's not sugarcoat it, man. That we pride ourselves on the show on telling it how it is. Like his form wasn't that amazing when he was playing earlier in this year as well.
He was awful.
And his form last year, you know, after his hand injury, wasn't that great either. So that's, I think, the big question mark.
That's what I was gonna say.
We haven't seen the Alex form for like more than 18 months now. So curious to see if he can round into form
that's
here.
what I was gonna say. What's going on with his hand injury? Because I feel like it's been downhill ever since that. And listen, he's been very quiet with his injury. Like I feel like we heard about his hand injury through other people. Like for instance, when I went through my hand injury, I was very public about it. I was like, listen, maybe not at first. At first, I was trying to keep it on the low and trying to see what the fucking problem was. But eventually, like, if you can't play the game or something happens, you have to take a step back. Like, you know, I thought it would have been nice to, you know, go public with some things, you know, let people know. But it's also very difficult for some of these players to come out and talk about some of these injuries because it might look down upon. You know, like, if he comes out and starts talking about an injury that he has, people might not want to play with him. You know
That's
what I'm
exactly
saying?
what would happen.
Right, which is why even with me, you know, I was very hesitant to come out and say what the fuck was going on. Lucky for me, when I was going through my injury, I had an organization like Faze that had my back. You know, like they were like, listen, you take care of your hand, you do what you got to do, you come right back in as soon as you're done. Which, you know, I was lucky to have an organization like that to support me, but it's very cutthroat now. Like now I feel like it's different. Like for instance, like this year with the hand injury, like if I just say, yo, I'm going to rehab my hand, I'll be back in a few months, I don't think I would be back. I think eventually they would just get Hydra, Mac, Ace, and they would have just found their team. If it was working, that's it. It was chalked. You know what I'm saying? So it's like different times, man. It's very cutthroat, and I feel bad for the kid because, you know, like Zinni said, he was probably going through some shit. I don't know what it was. I just know he was, and, you know, everybody has their own problems that go on in their life. But, you know, maybe he was going through something, and plus the injury on top of that. You know, he's very private about what's going on, so I don't really know what's going on, but Alex was a kid who's always had so much potential, man. He showed a lot of highs, especially in Modern Warfare with that Minnesota team. I remember when he was playing with Ace and he was doing his fucking thing. So, listen, man, I want to see these guys bounce back. I want to see these London guys do well. But right now, it's just not looking good. And if I'm looking at the London roster, I'm thinking Paul X and Afro, and I'm thinking to build around them just because they're the young guys, they're the guys that are making noise. You know, they've been doing their fucking thing. You know. So.
Yeah, I mean, Tom, I've seen like I saw it thrown on Reddit today. It was like Paul X, Zero. Afro and Nasty might be a really good four, and possibly, and it would suck for Alec and Sean, but that's the business. I agree. Like they've got some interesting decisions to make. I think I want to move on though, Tom, if you wouldn't mind.
No,
talk a little bit about this second map.
Yeah.
Was an interesting S&D. This round, I thought it came down to 1v1, and our stage gets about. We always love highlighting like the weird COD timing moments that happen on the show. Watch what happens here. I think he hears this guy come L, and he's just like, I don't know if he just gets a sound cue wrong, but he turns around because I don't think he knows, you know what I mean? If he's hearing him inside or if he's hearing him coming around.
Did he have his headset on backwards? That's a serious question too. I'm not trying to be an asshole.
I think it's just directional sound.
Nah, maybe he might have thought he was bottom brown, like behind that wall.
I don't know. That looked like, bro. It looked like to me the guy was right and he turned left, like, and it sounded like he was so confident in his decision too. Like, it looked like something was all fucked up. You know.
Well, Alex in the chat.
He's calling you an asshole.
He can let us know.
Alec, you know, I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole. You know what I'm saying, Alec? You looked to the right. He was to your right. You looked left.
Oh,
you know
he didn't hear
saying?
anything. He didn't hear anything. He was just like playing.
Oh, he didn't hear nothing. Oh,
he didn't
okay.
hear shit.
So he was okay.
Turn your fucking headset up, dude.
How the fuck did you not hear that, Alec? Turn it up. Turn up the fucking headset. But yeah, he ends up turning whatever. But bro, Faze are just a well-oiled machine. They went up 4-1. They started laughing. They started smiling. Be honest, guys. Did you guys let off the fucking gas pedal? You guys started trolling and shit. I saw you guys laughing, having a good time, Faze. And in London, they started bringing it back, and the smiles were instantly wiped off Atlanta Faze, and they had to kick up for the last 2 rounds, and they had to fucking do what they had to do. So you guys end up closing it out. I really like the way Faze closed out those last 2 rounds. But I want to talk about the streak usage from London. London brings it all the way back. They tied up at 4. Now, granted, the first map was very back and forth, right? London could have took that first map. It was very back and forth. It could have been anybody's game. Faze end up clutching it up. Then we go into the S&D. They end up going down 4-2 or 4-1 or something. And London, they bring it back 4-4. They have some streaks to work with, and I just feel like they just fucking blew them. Like, I feel like they had no plan at all. They just sat back and did nothing. Faze literally walked onto the site when they had streaks, got a first blood, and planted the bomb. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is London doing? What the hell is their game plan?
Yeah, this map's really open, so I feel like it is a great map. Like, you should be able to use streaks and almost guarantee yourself a round win, especially on defense. So I thought, again, we talked about this at the beginning of the show. It's like when you get those opportunities against Faze, it's 4-4 and you got 2 streaks. Like use those and force it to 1-1 the series and give yourself a chance on that map 4.
But what the hell is this? He pings, he sees nobody's on the site, he runs away. What the fuck is Shawnee doing? I mean, he's standing on the fucking can. Bro, just throw some shimmies, and once they're on the site, drop the artillery and bomb them out. Then you get the missile from bombing. I'm sure you'll get a kill with the artillery if they're on the point.
Awful.
Awful. It was terrible.
Rewind that. I want to watch it again.
And listen, these are like listen. This is not the I just want to say how it is. I just don't understand what was going through London's mind. Afro pings it. And then he runs into the site. Like I don't even like the play from Afro, from him just running into the site like that. And then he's getting shot at. He gets backed up, and Shawnee decides to jump on the can, and just stand there. He just stands on the can. They literally get a free kill. They have streaks to work with. They're on the defensive side. All they need to do is shimmy the bomb and make sure they don't get this down, and they just give it up. I mean,
well, I also hold on, Zin. I want to ask you a question.
What is that?
Like, what?
I don't know, Zin. That's what we're trying to figure out, Zinni.
So I don't really quite understand the setup from London to begin with, because what is number 4 actually watching here? His team has the cross to everything other than the courtyard itself, correct? But why would he just? They have no one spawning A cross.
Yeah, they can come right through L and laugh at him. I'd rather him be in that little mid truck corner watching the A cross, like that
they
little.
They have no info crossing the bomb, and maybe that's why he called in the streak, because they were turtled so heavy in that setup, and they had no info. Anyone crossing across the tank statue.
That happens sometimes. Sometimes when you get streaks, right? You just play so defensive and scared, and it ends up coming to bite you. Like I don't know. So I think it's important when you have streaks to sort of play like you don't have streaks at the same like a good mix, right? Like play confident, just hold crosses, and then fucking make it rain. You have Shawnee thinking he has kinetic armor. I don't know what the fuck this was.
Bro, you don't even need the cross, Ben. He pinged the streak. He saw nobody was on the site. Give it another 5-6 seconds. Give it a shimmy. If they're on the site, bomb it. If they're not, give it some time. Throw some shoulders. Get some information and use your streaks off the... Bro, even if FaZe gets the bomb down, use your streak to retake it. Bomb square, bomb the site, bomb like the back head glitch, and get control of the A bomb site and get on that fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like they had no game plan at all. They got the streaks. It's like they didn't even call a stride in their head. They just didn't even know what to do. It's like, who's calling the shots on this fucking team? Who's calling the shots?
Maybe what happened was he pinged the streak. He realized they weren't really pushed up, so Sean thought he can get on top of the barrel, play for some info. I don't know.
No, Afro got shot at before. No, Afro pushed up. It was getting banged before he even fucking.
I'm just trying to justify the shit play. I don't know.
Maybe Shawnee just thought they weren't pushing. Like Shawnee just thought they were staying back. But like that's the thing. You got to think that they could push there. Time's running out. He just pinged the streak. FaZe is not going to wait all day to plant the bomb. If they wait to the last second, the streak is going to rain hell and they're going to lose the round. So FaZe is going to make a play. And then Afro decides to use the streak.
After Sean dies, so they back up. They're trying to set up for the Zay play, but then kind of watch what they do with the space they have now. This is really just kind of tough when you're in that 3v4. Like you got to get the next pick, you got to get this bomb down. Instead, now you're getting picked again. Afro Pollux, I don't want to lie, bomb is all the way back. By the pallets, like this is chalked, and they never got anything positive out of either of those streaks.
No, it's chalked. It's chalked at this point. I think now, if you're London, you have to try and make a miracle play. They have to try and get the bomb down, but FaZe makes no mistake, right? They have them pinned. They have both crosses to their spawn, back to the statue. They know that both players from London are there, and all they need to do is stay together. And look, it's a fucking choo-choo train. They run through, and what the fuck is Paulette's going to do here with a Craig? Simp runs through, he shoots out from the back, they overwhelm him, they use their numbers, and FaZe make it look easy. And I just thought that's 2 maps now that London, could have took. And listen, that's the difference between the top teams and the bottom teams. It's like the decision-making, We might sound like we're being really harsh on these teams, but that's just the difference, when you're at the top of the top and when you're at the bottom of the bottom, it never really is, who could shoot straight, sometimes it is, but for the most part, it's the decision-making and the teamwork and kind of like how you're doing things. So London just seemed lost right there. They just seemed absolutely lost. But Ben, we go into a garrison control for the last map, and this is where FaZe took the 3-0.
Yeah, FaZe kind of speed run this. We've seen them do this a lot to the teams. They hit him with the quick A, and they kind of grinded out B. I actually think FaZe kind of made this round a little bit tougher than needed. They had a pretty easy B cap, and they just kind of pushed and got blooded. They ended up winning it on kills, though, because they had such a huge lead from how the beginning of this round played out. And yeah, I mean, for London, the missed opportunities, map 1 and map 2, going up against the best control team in the game, and it's a tough matchup, and it is what it is.
I mean, when there's 2 maps against the best team in the game that you could have won and you lose them both, at that point you're thinking it's chalked. You know, like there's only so much London can do, and I think FaZe always do such a great job utilizing their kills and getting this 8 point. We know this is the harder point to get on Garrison, and they do what they do best. They get kills, they stay aggressive. They don't get kills and wait. They get kills and they go every single time.
Yeah, I mean, dude, watch what BZ does in this whole sequence.
Yeah, he's nuts. He's nuts. Look, he constantly, bro, when he gets a kill, he goes. He constantly progresses up the map. Where it's the difference, you see a lot of sub players, they'll get a kill and they'll play their life so hard. And it's like sometimes it works, sometimes it's good to play your life, but sometimes you need to keep that pressure going. You know, it helps your teammates. It just delays their push. It helps with the timings on the map. So BZ does a fantastic job. He does a fantastic job. He gets the kills, he pushes up, he keeps getting kill after kill, pushing out those cuts. After that, you got Cell, you got RCs, you got the rest of the guys flooding onto that 8 point. And then at that point, it's easy sailing for FaZe, right? You
it wasn't that easy. I mean, watch the only mistake I can point out is for this situation here. They've got a 4-on-4, and they end up getting blooded. They do kind of equalize this for a second, but they're just kind of in the position where they need to just kind of play time and wait for the team kills. Instead, they just kind of force the issue here. They end up getting flanked from Vent here in a quick second, and then they do end up winning this round. You see it's 17-8 in lives. Like, even when this kind of goes south in about 3 or 4 seconds here, as you'll see, you know, they're able to play the lives and make it work. But that's probably the only real mistake I can kind of point out for them in terms of this could have been a little bit cleaner.
I'm surprised they gave a vent. I'm surprised they didn't look at it. Maybe they just, you know, when MC had that timing, like when he was shimming that vent side, maybe he just thought that was the only kid there and that nobody else can get there. But London, they end up clutching up. I think that was a little bit of a mishap from the FaZe guys. They gave up a cut that they probably should have kept holding. It would have been a lot cleaner. But with there's a minute left on the clock and London has 6 lives. I mean, just keep pushing, keep trading, and you'll win the round. You know, FaZe does a great job getting that 8 point, extending that time, and getting kills. They just get so many kills throughout the round that they just whittle down the lives. And at that point, they win an offense on Garrison, Ben. They bring it back to the defense. They take that. They go up 2-0, and it's easy sailing at that point. You know, what are you going to do? You're going up against the best team. They win the first offense. They're up 2-0 in the series, up 1-0 in the control.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
I mean, this series is over after the first 2 maps. You're not about to reverse sweep FaZe. They're probably demoralized. They're all down. Rab, are you here?
Yeah, what's good?
What's up?
What's going on, TacticalRab? Oh, see, I tried you in, but you were muted. I didn't know you unmuted.
You're
but
good,
TacticalRab, welcome to the show.
I'm enjoying the roast of London, man.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
you know,
definitely
we're trying
not
to be
coming
nice.
home for the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you got to think with a player like me sitting here marinating, it's quite annoying to watch some of these teams, man.
Here we go, Zinni again, coming out hot. You know,
listen, some of these teams are fucking shit. It's just that simple.
I mean, yeah, but there's only so much to go around, you know? Like, there's always going to be teams in the league that are shit, you know? There's always going to be teams in the league that are shit. Not everybody can't be the best. That's just how it is.
We need like an email with Tom's chat. We need an email with Tom's chat that's just Zinni's face and then like a plug going into it, you know? Zinni plug.
But TacticalRab, how you doing, Rab? You doing good?
Yeah, not bad. I'll tell you what, it's been a mad, weird couple of weeks, I think. Like, COD has been, I haven't felt it this dead in a long time. I don't know what it's been, to be honest. I guess it's like...
Is it a 2-week break? That didn't help.
There's a load of bells.
Yeah,
it's kind of strange. And then everyone's talking about...
But we got a really good stretch run. If you think about it, we got a stage 5. There's still some... I think the major storyline in this stage is what's going to happen at the top of the standings between spots 2, 3, and 4. I think that's the most interesting. And, you know... and we'll talk about it later, but we're going to have fans next couple of events, and we're going to lead into this champ. So I think it was a little bit of a break, you know, for the Americans out here. You had a nice little July 4th in between, but now we're back in the mix. A lot still to play for between these teams. And yeah, today's series were a little bit of a snoozer, but I think we have some great matchups coming, especially this weekend.
Yeah, we got some great matchups coming up, and Rab, to go back to your initial point, I just think there just hasn't been anything going on. You know, no games have been being played. There's really nothing happening other than just some player drama, you know, like here or there is a little bit of player drama, a little bit of banter on the timeline, you know, which we are going to talk about after these matches. But, I mean, Ben, we can fast forward and get this series over with, get it off the screen. I don't even want to see it anymore. Yeah, get to the next one.
One quick thing on FaZe I can just throw in is that, like, every single series that they play, at least against the bottom teams, I feel like they're playing maps they wouldn't necessarily usually play, like Checkmate Hardpoint. That's a pretty good one for London that they've played on. So I feel like FaZe are just throwing that one in. Standoff Search as well, trying to get some more reps in on that. Like, that's what I find so impressive about FaZe, that in some of these matches, they'll just play the veto so they get more practice on maps so they can just have a monstrous map pool when it comes to the major and champs. So I just think it's so impressive that they can throw maps that aren't necessarily their best, and they're still just throwing teams.
Oh yeah, very impressive. They're just a great team, Rab. I think not only are they smart, but they're just talented. You know, like they have everything across the board from a good coaching staff. They got a good guy over there, Easy Mac, doing the analytics. They got a good S&D coach. They got a great assistant coach in RJ who's always on the game, always watching COD. I mean, these guys just live and breathe fucking Call of Duty, man. It's what they do. We got Tyler Felony in the chat, man, with an 11-month fellow. Welcome, man. How you doing, man? I hope you're doing good. Formal actually responded to me in the DMs. He would have loved to come on. He said he'll come on another time, but the boys are watching back their matches, man. That
Okay, respectable.
It's definitely respectable. These OpTic guys, they want to make sure that they perfect their craft. They haven't been streaming scrims or anything. They've been really watching film and making sure they're fixing these little mistakes. So shout out to Formal for the quick response, and good luck to those OpTic guys moving forward. But that's what we're gonna talk about right now. We got OpTic Chicago going up against Paris Legion, and this was another one where OpTic just it was a blowout. It was a quick series. It wasn't a blowout, but it was a quick series. It was a 3-0.
Search got close.
And Search got close. And listen, I feel like this first hardpoint was a little bit closer than people thought, Ben.
Yeah, it got a little bit tight at the end, and I think Paris had an opportunity to maybe make it a little bit interesting, and they kind of squandered it. Again, same thing, man. Like, against these good teams, if you're a bottom half team in the league, I don't remember who said it. I think it was a pro saying that series this year was a coin flip. I disagree. I think, like, one running thing throughout this year is the good teams take advantage of situations, and the bad teams continuously toss them and toss them.
Mm-hmm.
Almost frying this map, huh?
Yo.
What's going on, Don? We're just talking about your team.
Yeah, no. If you have any questions for me, I'm here to answer them.
Thank you,
vibing,
Don. What's going on? We got Donnie Temp coming in, ladies and gentlemen. Let's welcome Big Temp to the stream. What's going on, Don? How you doing? How you been?
I've been better, but I'm living. Life's good still.
Been better.
It's been better, Don.
Been better for sure.
What are you gonna do, Don? What are you gonna fucking do, man? It's just another day in the office. You gotta keep working. Keep working, keep your head up, and keep on fucking pushing. But we're gonna talk about the series a little bit. I'm just DMing Scump real quick, Ben, so you could continue to talk while I just mention.
Well, let's check in with this OpTic listen, and then we can go from there.
All right, let's do it.
Blocking green.
Back plat her.
One more time.
You guys in a wrong stretch.
I hit up front.
Yeah, they're hitting up front. I'm watching you
Last
from
one square.
Let's give you plot late.
You blocking green.
One you.
I need green.
I'm laying down watching you cross.
This is a trophy now.
Yo,
one's rails.
Rails in top plat. It was rails in top plat.
Two time. Top plat.
I don't see rails.
My God, everybody saying screen. Do you listen? Listen to me.
Kill me from flatbed.
I was DMing said.
Flatbed, I think 2 at a time.
Yo, Kenny box, right?
Find out.
Kenny box.
Yo, cat stairs.
More
Nice,
time.
dude. Top plat. Bottom mid, bottom mid.
Back crash me.
Yo, top
Back
plat well dead.
crash me.
Back crash, dead.
Let's keep holding green. Build holding green.
I'm holding him.
I'm plat right now.
I bet.
you.
Back plat, absolute top.
Nothing new.
Come back, man.
Helping floating
What's
cross.
spawn green? Scraps.
Back
trash.
plat. Could be on you.
Yeah. I have green.
Oh, he's lights.
I got some.
Lights, Julie.
Yo, he's mid tanks. What's mid tanks? Looking lights.
Yo, in bricks to me.
Yo,
Bricks.
one's tools. He's
Yo,
spawned
plat.
out. One's
bricks.
tools.
Bricks.
I'm holding plat for a second.
2 bricks to me.
Nice,
I got one.
Nice,
Nothing.
nice.
Plug the time. Front
Nice, good job.
I'm
hitting
playing
lights.
alley.
That's
He could be in bricks. He could be in bricks.
Yo, what's back bricks?
Back mid, zap, dead.
Back bricks.
Could be bricks.
I'm
Could be
blocking.
bricks.
Yeah, block.
bricks.
I'm going to help the square. I'm helping your square, Matt.
Holding alley. Bricks is open. Bricks
Keep
is open.
blocking.
I'm blocking. We're good. I'm one on streaks, guys.
He was shooting good today.
Two back bricks.
Back
I have help.
Yeah.
Guys, typical optics, slowly but surely walking.
My bad for the screen, guys. I was saying it. I was DMing Seth. It's on the same screen as this one. I don't want you guys to see the DMs. You understand? It's private information. But yo, Formal was shooting good today. He was doing his fucking thing, and that's what you want to see from him. I mean, listen, I've had my fair share of words to say against Formal. Same with you, Ben. I mean, a lot of people have been saying Formal's the weak link and this and that. And listen, he came out and he played well today. And listen, we all know what Formal's ceiling is. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I've said it time and time again that if OpTic was to change, I was throwing stuff out there, but I always say these guys have what it takes to win. They have it. They have the roster to win. They just need to put it together. Granted, again, they're always beating teams. No offense, Don, that are at the bottom of the barrel.
None taken.
What are you gonna do? They're always beating teams at the bottom of the barrel, so you want to see them do it against some of the top teams. But it's nice to see Formal come out and shoot like this. Like, he's shooting really good, and he saved them here. I think Paris had a chance to bring this one back and take the lead, but luckily Formal found himself on a little bit of a streak, and he was able to break on in, find a 2-piece, and then he finds a 2-piece with the streak, and then finds a 2-piece with his gun, and he's able to break on in and really secure this map for OpTic. I think getting the last scrap here and then getting rotation to next really closed out this map for OpTic, Ben.
Yeah, this is just not the blender you want to be in P2. Hold the first half, get flipped on the second, like hold it from the front, then get flipped and hold it from the back, so you're not even going to get the P3 time. I do want to tip Paris. I think they did actually a decent job next couple of hills on the tail end of this rotation to make it interesting. This match didn't end 250 right into on time, right?
I ended
250.
Okay, I'm blasted then.
Yeah, it ended 250,
yeah,
but
or something.
But OpTic did outslay like crazy, and it was pretty close. I think it just came down to Formal getting streaks. I think Paris did a good job, like trying to chain some hills together and trying to bring it back, and they did it. Like they were chaining the hills, they were doing it, but because of how bad they started, Don, you guys honestly just gave these guys too many streaks, too much shit. To work
we didn't block the P3 spawn, and then they all spawned behind us, and then
that too. You guys definitely fucked up on that spawn. I was actually talking about that with RJ because he was saying the same thing, that you guys fucked up by not blocking one of those spawns.
That changes the whole game, to be honest.
Yeah. And I again, like, I think that's just like the main thing. It's like, honestly, you guys almost made the comeback here as well. I mean, this P1, bro.
It's just Dashi on streaks here. It was huge.
Yeah,
I was gonna say the only way we were gonna come back right here is when I was on a 5-kill streak. If we just made them come out of green and like died, like so they can like overextend, if you know what I'm saying, I probably would have got streaks. That was probably like our legit only chance, and it still wasn't a good one. But like he just ran in green and died, so I couldn't get the trade.
Yeah, so you guys couldn't get the trade. Just a little bit of it, and they had streaks, did they not?
Dashi went on a 7 and got streaks. Like, this is legit. The way you got broke here was actually like legit. You could have won this. There was such a similar game between, I don't know if it was Dallas and London. Like on this map, there was almost a crazy comeback that Dallas almost threw away sometime in stage 4. It was really reminiscent of that. Like look at this right now. Like the spawn in the back actually from Envoy is a bit interesting, but Dashi
they just spawned behind us on 2 like ults.
Yeah, I mean right here there wasn't really much that you guys can do. I mean, you guys had no choice but to push out because the streaks are coming down. I mean, this is Raps. I think you guys just gave too many streaks. You just can't let them streak like that. I mean, you just got to try and keep track of it, but I mean, what are you going to do? You know, they end up getting the streaks, and I think the streaks are what kind of helped them win that map. I think it got a little bit closer than we thought, but I think they come out in the first map, and then we go into a standoff S&D, Ben, for map number 2.
Yeah, this was an interesting one. I thought, Don, while we have you here, I thought we saw some good moments from your team. And then a couple of times, I think there was one time where you guys had an opportunity to retake, and you just ended up taking too many single shells and fish. Just some things to work on. But overall,
no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Talking about when they hit ice cream, or what's fish? What is fish?
It's like
yellow. You're talking about deli or
okay, yeah. Well, that round I called out that they went in, and then we just didn't make a play, even though I knew we had 2 people there. They couldn't go A. We were just slow to make plays. I think our main problem on this map was we were better on offense than defense, which makes legitimately no sense. We just won I think we lost like 3 or 4 defenses, and they're so OP on this map. Like that's I mean, I guess they were throwing defenses too, but like you gotta win a defense. You know what I'm saying? Like we just gotta win at least 1 more defense. We have so many opportunities. We'll literally toss a defense, like get first blooded, and then go win an offense, and then do the same thing.
I think also the round were scum clutch too. Towards the end of the game, that was a big clutch.
That was a big clutch for sure.
OpTic should have won that more easily though. We'll have a look at it when we see it, but like, we'll look at that round. All 3 of them are so separate on the map when it's come back to clutch out. Like, I still don't know what OpTic are doing sometimes.
Yeah, because I thought they were going to double team. Bro, when I was in the corner mid-court, I was hearing so much footsteps, bro. So, like, when I get the first kill, I don't know if you can, like, hear it in the vibe. I started pre-firing. And then they just, like, made a play on Maddie's side, and then Seth got the jump on me and won the one-on-one.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe try and, like, play your life, but, I mean, he kind of
I should have, looking back on it, I should have threw a hezzy.
Yeah, like, threw, like, a shoulder or just held, like, a
from my point of view, it happened so fast to where, like, I didn't know, like, if Maddie hit him or not, so I was like, bro, I'm gonna go for this trade confidently. The confidence, like,
we'll skip ahead, and I think it's about the 10th round, right?
Yeah, so right here is where I think Paris probably could have closed it out. You guys end up slow playing it a little bit. What was the play call here, Don? Just to kind of play slow, try and work a pick, and try and work this B-bomb site.
we just wanted to play a spread and just see what they gave us. Then when I could like jump on like this spot like front brown, I could see like the A wrap back, and then we just actually forgot how this played out, to be honest. I haven't watched it back, but it's the 1v2.
Bomb down a B, yeah, eventually, I think.
Yeah. I think this is the round where the bomb gets planted. This is the 1v2 round, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the 1v2 round. Like you guys.
Oh well, I mean, as you see, Yuli just. I feel like he should have just once he was mid street, he probably should have just took a fight. Like I'm just holding the wrap back. Like we're about to come plant at this point.
He played a weird angle, Yuli. Like he ends up getting picked, but like he was kind of just caught out in the middle of nowhere.
He should have just took a chow. He should have took a chow, and if he lost it, he lost it. If he wins it, great. Like.
But still, I mean, Zap gets a big trade. He ends up going down as well, though. So it's a 2v3 situation at this point, and you guys are in a blender. I mean, you guys are pinned here on the site, and there's only
I'm in the corner just hearing like, yo, I think there's 2 on me. I thought they were gonna like double. You know what I'm saying? I thought they were gonna double team me.
Like, look at this. So you got Scum back alley. Dashy's flying around the corner. Scum's nowhere near. Like, I don't understand how that even goes to a 2v2.
Like as soon as I get that kill, I'm weak, so I start pre-firing because I know I can't get away, and then it just happens so fast.
I like number 7's play, pinching Brown. I don't know, Rabbi. I hear what you're saying, but I
think they should have did something together. That's what I thought they were gonna do, but it worked out.
Look what Faze did when they retook against against London earlier. They just all ran it. It was a different site, but I feel like against I don't know, some teams this will cost you.
No. I agree with TacticalRab.
There's some team, dude. Another team could definitely win that versus. I don't think they played that smart.
I think they separated. Like they ended up. I see what they were trying to do. They were trying to swarm every lane, which is not a bad play.
But we can sound whore all of that.
Yeah. I just think
the whole thing. I heard them all.
I think the main thing was just like for them, like they're getting singled out. Like even right here, like you honestly could have took your time there, Don. And
I could have. Looking back on it, no, 100%. But from my point of view, it happened so fast. I didn't know if Matty hit him. He got 26 HP. If he got hit with a book, I just didn't. It just you said they're on him. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'm about to chow.
Yeah, but I think regardless, got to give it to Scump. He made a good heads up play. He gets the trade, and he just knows where you are because that's where you were when you got the initial kill. So they sent it to a round number 11. And you guys are on the defensive end here, Don. And what were you guys thinking on defense? Just personally, just looking back at this.
Make them make a play.
Yeah, make them make a play. I like that you guys pushed up on this A site and didn't just kind of like chalk it up. A lot of people will play scared in this situation. But you guys ended up not closing this one out. And then I feel like after this map, like when you guys go down 0-2, like now you got to try and do not the impossible, but it is hard to reverse sweep, especially against a team like OpTic, right? So, this round, kind of what happened this round, I think it was Zap, right, who got a kill, but then got traded out yellow.
Got insta-traded as a 3v3.
This was a weird spot, too, to see Yuli just kind of standing on the truck.
The spot's good.
Yeah, it's not that bad of a spot, but he almost gets caught. He almost gets fucking caught. And then I don't even know what the hell happened right here. What the fuck happened here?
Right here, it just came down to a 1-on-1, 3 versus 5, and then like he asked us to wrap back, but like he was dead anyways. He got shot in the back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Also, Yuli, like
it came down to that. Like we should have just like defense. In my opinion, defense is so OP that like if we just hold like the crosses like. And we spot them, then we should have to wrap back. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's
how the good teams on this map
play. That's
how
they play it.
The retakes are straightforward to good numbers.
It's so you always when you're on defense, you should always know where the other team is, and we just played it wrong.
Yeah, I think when Yuli died on that pinch too, it was over.
It was chalked.
Now you guys,
what can we do? We're chalked.
And I'm surprised Yuli just chalked up the flank like that. Like I'm surprised he chalked up the alley because he could just throw a shimmy on bomb, see nobody's there, go back to the alley, go back in the yellow, shimmy on bomb, go back to the alley. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But instead he just kind of held an angle and then he just gave himself bad timing. A lot of people might say, "Oh, Call of Duty timing, bad timing," but he gave it to himself. So I think right there was a little bit of a mistake. He gave up a lane and Formal took advantage of it. He found a gap on the map and he made a play, which is honestly what I want to see OpTic doing more. I was happy to see Formal make a play like that. Because especially on offense and stuff like that, round 11, like I want to see some of these OpTic players make more plays like that. Like they have the talent to do shit like that, to make more individual plays, take more risk, like be that team that just like isn't playing so basic and predictable, like make a fucking play. And that's what they did. Round 11, they made some plays. They took their time and they used their teamwork and they clutched up. We ended up going to a map number 3. It was raid control. And again, Ben, OpTic was easy sailing through this.
Yeah, Optic's been a good break control team, and I think we talked about it. It's just really tough. I'm sure you backed yourself, Donnie. It's tough after a tough S&D loss. You guys didn't drop the first defense. It's hard on this map to kind of regain and try and counter that so you can at least force a round 5.
And then listen, while we're talking about OpTic, I think this would be a good time to maybe bring up some of the stuff that's been happening with the OpTic guys' names being brought up. Crimsix maybe going a little bit rogue. I see a lot of people talking about Crim in the chat.
I think he's going too rogue. I think he's like gassing it. I don't know. I think he's.
You think he's gassing it?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like because him and Seth were on good terms, or are on good terms. I don't know. And then randomly, Crim started talking about Ian. Formal, I understand, because that video was somewhat recent. They said I think he talked about at the event.
Crim started talking about who?
Last night, Ian was talking about Seth.
So the genesis of it is that Crim's been like doing more, I guess, self media in recent weeks. Was posting a bit on Reddit, and then he did like was on Instagram. He was doing like the Instagram questions thing, and he kind of like I don't know if you want to pull it up, Tom, or we can just kind of talk about it. But like,
pull it up.
And people were asking about like what was better, like Prime Aches or Prime Scump, and he went with Pat, and obviously. I don't know if that's a serious answer out of him, if he's just trying to get a rise out of people.
No, his mindset. No, it's a serious, but he's not talking about it in the right way. Like it's not like he's comparing apples to oranges. I talked to him about it on the show. He's basically saying Aches was better in his prime because he made the people around him better because he was delusional. That is legitimately what he means. So like he's not comparing their talent.
Like skill, it's just like the extra pieces and all that. Yeah, that's fair.
It's literally apples to oranges. That's why I disagreed with his statement. Like I don't think he wasn't really like fair in what he was saying.
Well, I think he was then going to run with it because every OpTic fan on planet Earth was triggered, so it's free interactions for him, and he's just going to kind of run with it. I saw him and Pat was bantering. He was getting into it with some OpTic fans on Twitter. I know he was on your stream last night, Tom, and you guys were talking about it as well. And he was on Reddit too.
I just hate to see because what was Crim saying? He was like he had to teach Seth X crosses, and like he was acting like Seth was fucking incapable of doing anything, and like that's not. Like that, from my perspective, that is strictly like his anger talking. Cause like, bro, when they were teammates, they were a good ass team. Like they were good together. Like all these players are some of the best players of all time. I just think he's overgassing everything because he's upset, rightfully so. I mean, I understand why he's upset.
I mean, I agree with you, Zin. Like the way he was saying certain things, he was making it seem like Scump was just an airhead, which is just not the case. I mean, Scump is, he's a well-rounded player. Now, there's positives and negatives to every player. Aches might do some things better than Scump in his prime. It might bring other intangibles to a team, but Scump sure did things better than Aches. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things where it's just every player has positives and negatives. I think you can't take away from what Scump has done with Crim. I think Crim needed Scump and Scump needed Crim. I think a lot of their success was off of one another. I think it's a team game, and it always will be a team game.
We've talked about this whenever it comes up with OpTic, right? What are they doing differently this year? Why are they not winning? I think where Crim's kind of going is what that whole core of 4 brought to that team is they were the team that was, for the most part, when they were together, constantly pushing the meta. They were the one setting the pace of all the rest of the teams. I think that's where Crim, I understand his frustration because in these conversations in the last 4 or 5 months, like his name is not being put in that conversation as someone that was helping out, say, a Damon or a Formal or a Scump in getting there. And I can understand that he's kind of feeling frustrated in not being in that conversation. I think he's got some validity in what he's saying. That being said, the way he answered that question, I don't agree with.
Damon got more hate than him, and this isn't even me talking. I saw a post about it. This was facts, bro. Back when that dynasty was a thing, Damon got way more hate.
Damon got hate every event back then.
Every event he dropped a 0.95 and they lost.
Yeah.
It was dropped Damon.
I mean,
but
let's talk about it. So was definitely the most hated on that team.
I wanted to bring this up. So I've had a couple of OpTic fans send me some data, and I appreciate people reaching out to try and give us sort of context because they knew we were going to kind of talk about this. I want to have a quick convo about what does the OBJ role mean? Because I feel like too many people think that just look at CTF caps and hardpoint hill time and uplink caps. It's not just that. What Damon was doing on the team was filling gaps. So sometimes that means that you're playing a role where you're not going to be in plus situations to get kills. And you're going to drop a 0.95 because you're basically setting up the rest of your team. You're hitting that long route that's going to set you up for a really hard 1-on-1. Or you're the last guy coming off the spawn and you're hitting a weird route because that's the rule in the system you play. That to me is like more what the OBJ role is rather than just like the straight statistics. I don't know if you guys kind of agree with that take.
I agree. Stats mean nothing unless you watch the game. I mean, that's just how it is with stats. I mean, the stats could tell a lot about somebody's objective work, but it could also not tell the whole story. You have to watch the game. You know, in, say, Uplink, Damon, he's always finding ways to grab the ball and finesse with the ball, and then he passes it to somebody for a dunk. That doesn't get put into a fucking scoreboard sheet. That doesn't, you don't see anything on the stats about that. Like, he did all the fucking dirty work. But at the end of the day, it was Scum, Crim, or Formal getting the fucking dunk, and they get the fucking OBJ points, you know? Like, it's like little things. You have to watch the game.
And I also felt like, Tom, like, I feel like, and maybe we have a better understanding now, I think the teams and the players and the media, too, have kind of gotten it. I feel like the messaging back then was also terrible. Like, the team, no offense to them, never did a good job of messaging exactly what Damon's role was on the team to make the fans understand that, yeah, sometimes he's going to drop a 0.9, but the guy's also like getting set up to make the game-winning play for them at the end of maps. And like that role was super important and super key. Every piece of that team played. Let's not take away from the fact that everybody in that team was playing an important part in why they won so many events and made so many finals. But I don't think the fans were ever properly like taught exactly what the specific thing that Damon was doing on the team to get them to win those series and win those tournaments.
Yeah, and listen, we were talking to Crimsix yesterday a little bit on stream. I had him on, and we were just kind of bullshitting. And he was saying he just feels like the OpTic fans, like there's so many of them that are just like out to get him. It feels like I don't know. He feels like he's fighting a war. It's like him versus 400,000 people or whatever he said. I don't know what the fuck he said. He said something along those lines. And, I mean, here's an example. You have a guy, Momo Bro. I know Momo Bro. I see him all the time.
No, OpTic fan. Very famous OpTic fan.
Yeah, very famous OpTic fan. It's because Crim knows he was the worst player on the Dynasty by far. It eats away at him for knowing it, so he disguises it in humor and talking fugazi whenever he can.
It's a good shitpost by a fan, but okay.
I mean, I fuck with the fugazi. I wonder where you got that from, Momo. Where'd you get that?
I wonder where.
But I disagree. I don't think Crim was the worst by far. I think they all needed each other. I think that's what made them a dynasty, was how great, I think, of how great they all were as a team, I think is what made them a dynasty. I mean, that's what a dynasty is when from top to bottom, they're just stacked, you know? And I think Crim brings a lot of intangibles to a team, as well as Formal, Karma, and Scump and all these guys. Crim, he responds, or maybe I've decided to fight fire with fire. Fight comments that are so mind-boggling stupid to me and serve that shit back up to you. And the minions like you take the bait every single time. LOL, I am quite literally in a 1v400,000 right now, and I am winning.
The classic Crim tweet right there.
This guy's a fucking maniac, you know?
He's out of his mind.
He's crazy.
I hope they can make up, because, bro, it's very simple. They're a dynasty roster because they were all great together. Like, there was not one player that didn't contribute to any of those victories. Like, sure, some slayed more than others during certain events, like whatever. Like, bro, they were an unreal team together. And I hate to say this fucking weird fake, I wouldn't say fake rivalry, but like, how can they just make up? Like, there's too much history between
They'll make
the
up
team.
Eventually.
Like, what are they doing? Like,
Well, they already made up. That's the thing. Like, they've made a big
no,
up over
hold on, no. Seth and Ian
years,
did
though.
made up, and I think Ian lost full and went rogue, and then brought Seth back up again. Even though I don't think Seth did anything wrong.
Yeah, that's got
the only way this is going to get resolved is I'm going to use a word in a
Hilton
phrase.
Bar, man. We need the Hilton Bar. I'll fucking settle it
a public
quick.
mea culpa with all these players where they just sit down on a podcast and talk this out. Because I think like a lot of this comes down to like, I wouldn't be surprised if Crim wants a public apology for how the end of Black Ops 4 shit went down. I think he feels wronged by the whole situation and he got singled out. And they felt like they didn't understand the contribution that he could have made in the following year.
I mean,
I think it's understandable.
He then went on to say, you know, that he felt like getting dropped from OpTic was like a highlight of his career. It was like the best thing that ever happened to him. That's what he said.
Come on, let's not act like Ian wouldn't go back in time and stay on OpTic if things were right.
He was pissed after it happened. I mean, he had twit longer.
But that's not what he was saying. And he was obviously pissed in the moment. He's saying, looking back at it now, you know, it was a good thing that they separated.
Of course, he found some success.
Yeah,
but I mean,
yeah.
But if he truly was happy, then there wouldn't be this beef. He would be the bigger man and fucking end it and be like, listen, like this.
We're not gonna sugarcoat it. There's tension
This was
here.
good. Like, this was good for me. Like, it actually worked out. Blah blah blah. Either way, listen. No matter when someone gets dropped, especially Ian. Like, Ian had a lot of history with OpTic. He was basically family. Like, when you win and you're on the team for so long, it's impossible to not take it personal. I've been on a team for 3 months. I get dropped. You take it personal. It's because the way Call of Duty works is we're all such close friends. It's legitimately impossible not to feel hurt when you get dropped. And most of the time, it's not in a good way. Very rarely is it a straight up conversation like, "Hey, we're gonna do this." Usually, you hear from the grapevine, and that's what just makes it worse. Is it's a very sketchy time when people get dropped.
Jalen Rose over at ESPN, he talked about this about the NBA, but it applies to every sport and esport. At the top level, these are very small fraternities. Think about the small percentage of people that have ever played top level Call of Duty, been on a winning team. And I agree with you, Zen. It's like it comes down to these personal relationships. And I totally understand that people on both sides feel like they've been wronged. And I think the only way this gets resolved is them going on like this show or Hector's podcast and talking it out and having a good laugh about it.
I disagree. I think they need to get hammered at the bar together. I'm not kidding. If I was at the bar with them right now, I would call them both over and say, "You are both pussies, dude."
Yeah, we'll see how they feel after the drinks, though. I mean, you wake up the next morning and they're all hungover.
But I mean, that's what it always is. It's always like this with professional players. When they see each other in person, they see each other at the bar. It's like nothing ever fucking happened. They laugh it off. It's always laughed off. Even Crimsix with the Jack Black tweet with Formal a few weeks back. I was talking to Porter on the phone the other night. He told me he was standing next to Formal when he tweeted it out. And Formal just said "fuck you" and he laughed it off and walked away. Like it's just, they don't give a fuck. Like they don't care. Like it's just fucking banter. And I think there's definitely tension between them. But Zen, you know how it is.
One thing I want to say is that Ian's getting a lot of hate. Ian, listen, we all know Ian. He's getting a lot of hate. Like, I'm good friends with both sides. Like, Ian's a very good guy. Like, Ian's a very nice guy. Like, he's getting a lot of hate. He just hurt, and I understand why. Like, when he feels it's not easy to fucking feel like you're being, what's the word? Like he's being discredited for his contribution to the team, right? Like. I'm sure Matt was just making a joke on that show, but to Ian, it's like, fuck. There's thousands of fans now laughing at me. Like I understand it, but
yeah, you gotta feel where
he is
where
a good guy.
at,
he
Zen.
means well. He just it's tough to deal with, especially when there's so many eyes and messages you're getting. And
I don't want to get like too psychoanalytical on this show, but from my experience in this scene, a lot of players' preferred coping mechanism is projection. And I'm not saying that Crim is projecting, but I wouldn't be surprised if when those comments were made, and that was when Dallas was not felt like they were a complete team yet, that he felt like there needed to be another outlet for him to deal with his frustrations. On top of that, as we talked about, I think probably on the second or third show we ever did, this community is so good at just generating interactions. Crims is leaning into it at this point because it's fun and he's having a giggle about it. And more people are following his Twitter account. His tweets are going everywhere. And, we're here talking about it. I'm sure TacticalRab, who's in his TeamSpeak, has made 17 videos about it already.
Dude, this guy's got to calm down, man. Like, I can't have him on the thumbnail 3 videos in a row. He can't help himself.
I mean, they're helping you
yes,
out,
you
Rab.
can. Come on. That's exactly what you want.
I'm like, there's 2 good pictures of Crimsix. The ones this year are horrible. I can't keep going back
Let's
and
not
forth.
act like you don't love putting that Seth thumbnail right on that
He's
video.
gotta love it, bro.
Oh,
You love
the
it,
new picture
man.
of Seth is great, though.
Yeah, you fucking smile ear to ear.
I just feel like Crimsix
I
is
can't
finding
complain.
himself in fucking drama, man. You got this shit going on. He's yapping about this and fucking that, and then in the meantime, he's getting a fucking video made. And then that's a whole nother fucking thing about it, right? This whole Hook thing, he's got to get the video made. So obviously get that when it comes out, we'll talk about it. But, I mean, we'll see. I mean, Crim's just got a lot of drama around him right now, and I think he's just a very, what's the word? First of all, he's a fucking maniac, for one. For 2, he's very passionate about this shit. Like, you could tell that he definitely really cares. So I think that's why you see him a lot, and just a lot of this drama and a lot of this fucking bullshit. So I think that's just the main thing. But let's go into some predictions for tomorrow. We definitely got a couple good matches tomorrow. The first one, we got Minnesota Rocker going up against Los Angeles Guerrillas, and then we got New York Subliners going up against the new LA Thieves with John. Juanito is making his debut after a year off, or a year and a half off. I mean, he hasn't been competing in a while now. Obviously there's some shit that happened with him. He never really came out and said anything publicly, but John's back. John's fucking back, and I'm curious to see your guys' opinions on this roster and how you think they're going to do. But let's start off with the first one. We got Minnesota Rocker versus Los Angeles Guerrillas. I heard LA Guerrillas have been getting absolutely shit on smoked in practice. I heard it hasn't even been close and not even winning maps.
We've seen it,
I saw their academy team absolutely Did they 11? Did the academy team 11 point club them?
Yeah, they 8 on them. They didn't win the map.
Yeah, and Scrims. Oh.
Which is just, come on, it's ridiculous at this
But
point.
they
They
are
drop
playing
Money Chin. Money Chin goes to the
Yeah.
academy team, and he smokes them with the academy team.
But they're playing a Minnesota team that is also not particularly good at hard points. So you never know in this matchup. That being said,
Rule
let's just be nice to LAG, man. I don't know why I'm being nice Sunday. Let's spot them a map. We'll break up the 3-0s. We'll say
I thought you were
Minnesota
gonna give them a
3-1.
win. That's funny.
I'm
No,
going 3-0 Minnesota Rocker.
Let's spot them a map.
I'm going 3-0 Rocker?
Yeah, I'm going 3-0 Rocker.
I'm going to go 3-2 Rocker.
All right.
Listen, we should also talk about it's Mental's first CDL game. I know that he's been sort of up and down in practice. Guys has been a top level pro in another game on a very dominant team that was on OpTic Gaming at one point. Curious to see how he can play against top CDL pros, and he'll have this audition here the next couple of weeks to see if he should be an important piece on a team going into next season.
I wonder what the decision was. So, like, I think Mental's solid, but I think Nero's better. Because I've been in Challengers for a bit. I played against LAG Academy quite a bit. Like, I wonder if maybe they think putting Mental into, like, a pro system against pro players will, like, help them get better at a quick rate.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But I was surprised to see it being Mental because, in my opinion, I think Nero's stronger.
Well,
and then...
I wanted Ricky and Bevels to come on the show, so the invitation is still there because we'd love to understand.
We have Ricky. Ricky, what's going on, Ricky? Welcome to the show. Tana, tell me what's going on with the team. Welcome to the flank, Ricky.
Hey guys, Ricky here. Obviously, we let Reese go to Empire. Now they're top 2. So currently, obviously, just focusing on strategy, preparation, and expertise, and trying to get Billy into the system. That's all I got.
Thank you, Ricky. It's always a pleasure. I mean, there you go, Ben. You've been waiting for Ricky to join the show. We got him.
We get Ricky, but yeah,
we got him.
Again, seriously, would like to see them on the show because I agree with you. Zen, like, I would have thought if they wanted a sub player and someone who can be that more like cracked player, they would have gone with Nero. But maybe they know something we don't hear.
Yeah, maybe they have other motives with the team, man. Yeah, maybe they're thinking about the future more. They want to get him some reps, like Zinni said. I don't know, but there's also a role change coming in from the Minnesota Rocker. I'm hearing that Dylan Attach is now on the AR. And Priesta is back on the sub. Is that right?
I don't know about this one, man. Listen, I think Preston's a very capable sub. Preston's super talented, one of the top talents in the league. But we saw him with an SMG at the beginning of the year, and he wasn't that good. And then he goes to AR, and he's pretty fucking dominant. So now it's just like maybe Priesta found form with the SMG. I mean, I haven't seen them play at all. I don't know anything. So
I love it. I think this is great. I think Attach needs to be on that that role that just lets him just kind of roam and get kills and just play his game, and I think that's what the Krig is in this game. Like, I think there's a main AR Krig, and then I think there's kind of like a flex Krig where you could just kind of just do your thing. I just think the Krig fits Dylan. I just like Attached with an AR. I always have.
I agree, but we also need to see Preston be more consistent with the sub.
Yeah,
that's the other side of it.
You didn't let me.
Sorry, go ahead, Zen.
I like Dylan on AR. I like Attach on the AR. I just worry that Priesta won't have that same consistency on an SMG. It's not easy to go from AR to SMG in the same game.
Right. But it's also a lot easier to be consistent on an AR.
No, of course, a lot easier.
Like he's gonna be. There's gonna be maps where he struggles with a sub. That's every sub. There's inconsistencies. Bro, you see Simp and Abizi have bad maps sometimes.
I do think him as an SMG next to Standy's gonna be better for him. I think I like that SMG dynamic a little better with him next to Standy prior to what he was doing before.
Yeah, I'm curious.
We'll see what happens.
Somebody said they switched back to their normal roles because Priesta said it on stream like a couple days ago.
We'll see what they show up with tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, regardless, I think they should stick to the role change. But if they went back, maybe it wasn't working. But they also should have gave it a little bit more time. I don't really know what they're doing. But like Ben said, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
But I mean, if they figure it out,
there is no time because something we haven't talked about really is I think Rocker and Thieves are basically in this race to not get the bottom.
Well, starting losers, basically.
To not get losers. Wait, so one of them will or both will? What's the...
I mean, I think one of them will, because Rocker on
what I'm saying.
200
so right now,
points.
Yeah, so right now Thieves is behind Rocker. So Rocker needs to be on top of the ball.
6, but yeah.
So basically...
Rocker needs to be on top of the game, and Thieves needs to not fuck around, because no one wants to start losers at champs. It's...
Just short,
So to give credence, so OpTic is right now in the 5th spot at 280, and then Rocker is 6th at 200. So unless OpTic just absolutely tossed the next 3 or 4 weeks, no one's catching up to them. So it's just a question between those 3 teams who's getting that last spot.
Well, who's in 7th, and how many points do they have?
So Minnesota's got 200, Thieves is 180 in 7th, and Florida's at 8th with 170. So it is still doable.
Yeah, that's clear. That's 20 points is close, man.
Yeah, anything could happen, but I think it seems like Minnesota's a team that can kind of control their destiny here. If they come out and they just play really well on the stage, get a top 4, they're probably gonna lock that spot down.
I don't know. We'll see. But did we get predictions from Rab? Rab, who do you think's gonna win?
I guess I'll take Rocket 3-1. Like, I just looking at today, and both the teams in London and Paris that have basically nothing to play for just got straight smoked, right? Just like Aguila's just gonna come to the same fate, right? Where, like, what really are they playing for at this point?
I think people are playing for next year at this point, bro. If you're a bottom 4 team, you are not safe. You need to be popping off as a player. If anything, you should be thinking it in the exact opposite way that you're sort of saying it, right? Like, I'm not thinking, fuck, we're not making champs. I'm thinking, holy fuck, I want to have a job next year. Let me go off.
Sure, yeah. But maybe that doesn't mean winning a series, though, right? Like, there's a possibility of people, how much do they play to look good on the scoreboard, this type of stuff. We always have that discussion at some point in the year, and maybe that means that teams like LAG, you might find that some people, maybe the stats are not looking too bad, but they're still getting 3-1 or 3-0.
Yeah. Listen, we got a bunch of people playing for player cards, so it is what it is. We're not going to sugarcoat it. And people feel, I agree with Zinni, and people feel their jobs are on the line, so we'll see the mix we normally see. I'm going to hop over while Tom goes to get water here for a sec. Let's talk about the next game. The New York Subliners taking on LA Thieves, one of the heaters we're going to have in this this Group A mix. Just kind of setting the table. We'll see New York with their full lineup with Asim back. I heard practice has been going pretty well. I think they know what they need to fix. They want to go ahead and win the CDL this year. They're going to need to, as a team, play some better work around the hill and not just rely on Asim to just kind of be their saving grace. And for Thieves, it's now the 30,000th lineup they tossed out this season. They brought in one of the all-time best sub players we've ever had, John. I'm curious to see how he plays after a long layoff. I think from my POV, just to kick off predictions, I think this series is going to be a little bit interesting. I think Thieves is really going to battle, but I do have New York taking this 3-1. I think that 4th map will be really close, and Thieves will be ruining their inability to force the 5th map in this series.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say the same thing. I was going to say New York 3-1. Listen, I don't know what this LA Thieves is gonna pull out. I really don't know how they've been looking. I've heard mixed things. Like in practice, I've heard they looked okay. Some teams have said they looked terrible. Talking to some people. But at the same time, it is still early. Like they just picked them up and they were practicing with them. So I'm sure a lot of teams are just smoking them. But as they get into rhythm, like I could see a pretty good ceiling with these guys. Like I think they have a lot of potential. But I think the team lacks aggression. I think LA Thieves lacks aggression. I feel like John has never been like a hyper aggressive sub. He's kind of more like a roam type player. Like he's kind of just like does his own thing. Then you have Kenny and Slasher who are running the ARs. And then you got Draza, who's kind of like an AR sub flex type. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not really like he's aggressive, but he just doesn't come across as the entry fragger type to me. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if I'm just wrong about that. Do you guys agree? Like is Draza like that kind of player where he's going to be able to just fucking... I know he's fast, but is he like that entry sub type player where he'll be going in first and making plays and...
I mean, we'll find out. He wasn't, but because I mean, like we all know, the best form of their roster was before they even got Kyler. It was Kenny, Draz, Tej, and Venom. Like they were a top 3 team. People were saying at that point, and then it just
hold on. Pump the brakes on that. That team was together.
They were very good.
They were a good team, and they were making a losers bracket run over the course of 2 days. They were playing well.
They beat OpTic quite.
They beat OpTic, but to say they're a top 3 team, I think is a little.
No, hold on.
Gas.
I mean, this is coming from other pros too, who scrim every day. Like Thieves made a change before their next matches when that was like their pinnacle, like when they were looking their best. Now you have Draws as an SMG. This guy's went from AR to SMG 4 different fucking times. The poor guy.
Yeah.
So like, can he be the entry sub? Sure, it's not going to be John. I mean, John's a good SMG player, but he's not.
John's more of a scum type. He's more of a scum type sub player.
He's more of a slayer, and he's good at it.
Yeah.
So I definitely worry about. I think Kenny's one of the faster ARs. We'll see. I think their pacing should be all right. I don't think it's going to be as good as it was. I mean, I don't think either of them are as aggressive as Tej is. I guess Tej wasn't getting the most kills, but still, his playstyle is pretty aggressive. I don't think they have that right now. I don't know. I'm gonna go 3-2 New York. I hope it gets interesting. New York, I want to see Clay like go back to that former glory form we saw him earlier this year, where he was legitimately like unstoppable. I don't want to put too much stock in the major because obviously they didn't have ASIM, but I thought Hydra and Mac were underwhelming. I didn't think they looked anywhere close to as good as they did with their other team. So I'm curious to see if ASIM's that glue and they go back to land and they fry.
I honestly agree with you. I think New York was a little bit underwhelming too. I know Decimate was the one who filled in for ASIM, and I know ASIM brings a lot to a team. But if ASIM means that much to that roster, like that's a serious thing, you know, like that's not great.
Yeah.
So, you know, to me, it's like, you know, what kind of New York are we gonna get tomorrow? You know, like we might get a good New York, we might get a bad New York. Like I really don't know. Obviously, I'm gonna stand behind my team, and I'm gonna go with New York winning this series because I think when both these teams are on, if they're both on playing their game, I think New York is the better team. But I just don't know what we're gonna get tomorrow. So I'm a little on edge about that. But we'll have
this
to see.
might be the first time that I'm more optimistic about New York than you are, because I feel like this is not the series where I feel like that comes into play. To me, it's the series this weekend against OpTic. I think is the real test. I think they should be able. And no offense to Thieves fans, man. I just feel like New York should be able to handle Thieves with their current form, even with John in the lineup. Then the test it when they play against an OpTic team, where I feel like New York's a little bit more organized. If they come in like a little bit soft in that matchup and lose to OpTic, you know, this is a group that with them, New York, Faze, and OpTic, you would say are like the clear three, and then Thieves is that fourth best team. Like New York can't really give any ground to Faze or OpTic, otherwise they're going to be kind of that third seed playing the number two from the other group, and that could be like, you know, one of the other teams that they're trying to fight for that second seed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we'll see. Rab, who do you got for New York LA Thieves?
This is a banger. I hope so, at least. I mean, I think New York have a lot to prove here. Like, I agree with what you guys are saying, because when New York were at their best around, stage 3 when they made the finals, they were basically not losing a single hard point. Like, they would go into every series and almost always win both hard points. And even then, the control in S&D was kind of suspect. And I don't think that Thieves is necessarily the team to be able to completely take advantage of that. And maybe things are looking different now for New York. I think that straight up, like, talent v talent in the roles they have, the SMGs are more important than the ARs. And subliners have better players, I think, at least from what we know in those roles. I legit think that John needs to be like, I don't know, I think Draza can do his thing and be solid in that aggro SMG role that he's going to need to play and can do decent. But like, John needs to put up crazy numbers. Like, he needs to just do simp things, to be honest. I think if this team wants to compete, because...
And he's never been that when he was in the league, man, the last couple of years.
He wasn't doing that.
John was a good player, and then would have a lot of series where, just like Tej, where you just don't know what you're going to get from him on a given day. And Thieves have seen their fair share of players like that throughout this year, so they need him to be a consistent anchor, so they can let that AR power, which is probably their strong spot on their team, shine through.
I'm curious to see how John does. I'm really curious to see how he does, because with Ben, he was definitely. I think very highly of John. Like, he's a fucking incredible player, one of the best to ever do it. You know, top 5 SMG to ever play the game. I'm just really curious to see what kind of John we're gonna get, because we haven't seen him play at the highest level for a really, really long time. I also see somebody in the chat said, "Oh, New York had one bad major, and they're already being talked like they're chalked." Nobody's talking about New York being chalked. Nobody said that. I just think. One, you know, they had a good rhythm, and I think not getting ASIM to that event was a serious thing. I think it might have threw them off a little bit. Like, obviously they didn't perform well at the event, and ASIM did a lot for that team. But going back into practice and stuff, you know, I haven't really talked much to the guys. I've been trying to let them stay focused and kind of do their own thing, so I've been trying to stay out of it. But I'm just excited to see what they can bring. Like, we know the potential New York has. I just want to see them get back into that rhythm now, because I know losing ASIM could have threw off the momentum a little bit, and we've seen it happen time and time again. We saw with LA Thieves. They had a couple weeks where they were a really good team, and then they end up fighting for Hook. They go and buy Hook. They put Hook in a team, and they ruined it all again. And they couldn't get back to that same spot. They ended up going back to that original team, and it wasn't working. They lost it. They lost their fucking groove. So we'll see, man. I think regardless, we got 2 great matches tomorrow. We got another couple pair of matches tomorrow that we could talk about. And I think we're ending with a banger. I think New York Subliners versus LA Thieves is going to be a good one. But let's go to the chat and answer some questions before we end the show. I see a lot of you guys coming in. Mano, what the fuck? I'm echoing like a motherfucker. Who the fuck is that? Let's take a look. With the way champ seeding is, does the race for the 6th seed even matter, considering you will meet Faze in the first round of winners?
Absolutely.
Everything matters.
It's just a lifeline. I mean, I'd rather play 2 series and play Faze first than potentially play 1 series, lose, and you're out.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you are the 6th seed and you upset Faze, you're on top of the fucking world. I mean, if you're the 6th seed, you're not thinking, oh fuck, we're playing Faze, unless you're a pussy. You're thinking, let's fucking beat the fuck out of these guys and make a run.
Because if you gotta beat the best to be the best. In order to win the event,
Faze, you're like, okay, we're winning champs.
And if you want to play Faze, you want to play them in the beginning of the tournament. You want to play them in the first round. Like, you want them early. You don't want to catch them in a final when they're hot. You know, you want to catch them early where you could catch them slipping and maybe take a W.
Wait, no,
6
plays
best of
3.
fives
No,
as well, you know.
No, 6
like
plays
best of
3.
nines,
1 and 2 have
that's tough.
buys. 1 and 2 have buys.
1 and 2 is
6 plays 3, 5 plays 4. So who is number 3 right now?
I think that is New York, right?
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
I think Dallas passed them.
Listen, overall, it doesn't
It's
matter who you're
Toronto's,
playing
Toronto's
first round.
third.
You're
So
playing
Zach-
winners.
So right now, Zen, so Dallas is second at 320. It's so close, man. Toronto is 315 in third spot, and New York is 310. So that's an insane difference. Like, that is, to me, the biggest storyline in this stage. Those 3 teams and what order they're going to finish in this major. We could see something crazy happen. We're going to a tiebreaker because people are tight on points. I'll take another question here. This ties back to something I saw a lot on Reddit. Someone, It's Bitta, said, do you ever see Simpin and Beezy splitting up as a duo in the near future for some reason? Would love to see one of those two play with Scum before he retires. I want to answer this question by bringing up something I saw on Reddit today. About,
the Aches thing?
Yeah, and like the Faze team. So I want to tell this story because I was a little involved in sort of how some of this went down. Like, people always ask like how the Faze team happened. First off, to answer the actual question, no, I don't think it's going to break up because I think those players like teaming with each other, and for them, they're not going to chase a high salary when they know that after, dude, Simp and Beezy and Cell by the end of this year will have made $500,000, maybe even more, in prize money in 2 years.
I don't know. You pay taxes, you're left with $100,000.
You're paying local tax, you know. You're not.
You know what I'm saying, Rab?
Yeah, it's more like a 250-ish, whatever.
Yeah.
When all is said and done, the federal government, the state takes the money they want, but still, that's a lot of extra cheddar they wouldn't have gotten on other teams that weren't winning chips or really being competitive for the last 2 years. And at Pat's point,
cheddar.
You know what's funny to me about how that Faze team happened? The Faze team happened because people didn't want to team with Celium. There were a lot of players that turned down Faze because they'd rather play with someone else than playing with Celium, which I think is comedy and speaks towards. Well, I'm not gonna name names.
Wait, there was people that didn't want to play with Cell?
Yeah, there were a couple of players. There were a couple of players I know that turned down spots on that Faze team back in the first year.
I honestly cannot believe how dumb people are when it comes to like certain. Bro, how do you turn that down? How do you turn that down? That makes no sense to me. Like, that makes absolutely no sense.
It makes no sense to me either. You team with MC. Like, yeah, like, he was definitely a little raw in that Black Ops 4 year, but you couldn't tell me by the end of the year, man, that kid was going some crazy.
I was dying to play with him before he was even a professional. Before he was.
You saw the fucking montages that he made on YouTube, and you're like, I want to play with this guy.
Yeah, bro. I mean, hey, a lot of people used to fucking cook me for it, but I mean, look at where the kid is now. I mean, just the potential, right? Like, the potential that you see in the kid. It was the same thing with Hydra, right? You see this guy have a sniping montage in pubs. It really doesn't matter. You just see the way they move around the map and the way they challenge things. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as they're able to make right plays and learn the game, if they have the talent on top of that and they're a good teammate, which MC is a great teammate, then they have the whole package. You know what I'm saying?
Why are people saying I'm quiet? What?
I don't know.
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
It wasn't you.
I would have shaved my ball sack to play with Cell, man.
You heard it here first. Zen would have shaved his fucking sack. Somebody says, does any of the blame on 100T get put on Kenny? Has been the only consistent piece on that team, and they haven't won. I mean, you can't really blame Kenny because he's been their best player. You know what I'm saying?
Ken is not the reason why that team is struggling.
Yeah, I don't think he's the reason either. I think there's a lot of different reasons why that team is struggling. We've talked about it time and time again. But they got a whole new look to the roster now, so I'm curious to see how they do. But let's take one more question, man. I'm sure we can find one more question. I saw somebody ask about Scump and maybe potential retirement. He said he's gonna, because of the clip that's been going around about how he's gonna look at the trailer to the next game. Bro, that was a big old troll. Seth was trolling.
No, Seth is not retiring. Seth loves competing. Seth,
yeah, he does.
Listen, there's something that people need to understand. I'm not sure we talked about it before on this show. It's a heart versus logic thing. For someone like Seth, he would probably make more money going the full-time content route. At the same time, you could not compete at the highest level in something like this. Like, for example, right? If you're a high school sports player, as soon as you're done with high school, if you're not an athlete in college, you're done with sports. Whereas right now, Seth's what, 20, just turned 26 years old, competing, one of 48 players in the Call of Duty World League. There is no adrenaline rush and dopamine hit like competing on that main stage. And as soon as you give it up and walk away, it's done. And that's the reason why so many players stick to it so long, is because, like, you do it for over a decade. You're good friends with the people. You love the fans. You love meeting people. Most important, you like playing on that stage, and it's just competition.
Scump will not step back until he feels like he's letting the team down. Until it gets to a point where he's just not performing and he feels like he's letting his team down, then he'll take a step back. Or he's just drained and he's getting to that age where he just doesn't want to live that lifestyle anymore, where he has to get on and just put in. Because, hey, when you're fucking grinding, like, you're grinding, man. It's a different lifestyle, you know? But I don't think Scump is, like, worried about anything else other than competing. I think he really wants to compete. I think it's just something that he loves to do. And being someone who took a step back from competing, it is very difficult to make that step. Like, you really, really got to think about what you're doing. And you need to make an educated decision. And for somebody like Scump, who's healthy, feels good, he's playing well, he loves to do what he's doing, I don't see him stepping back.
Agreed.
I don't. I'm excited to see what he does, man, moving forward. You know, I want to see him keep competing. I want to see him keep playing, because I don't think it's time yet for him. But at the end of the day, that decision's up to him. And I think a lot of people should start respecting him and showing him some love while he's still here.
Hell, listen, we could be wrong. He could walk away after this year. How the fuck do we know? I don't think he will.
We don't know. We really don't know. But I think we can end it there, man. What's going to happen?
Cut you off. Finish off what you were saying. Treat that guy well, man, because I promise you'll be fucking crying when he walks away. Just like you guys were all screaming, drop Damon. When Damon got dropped, it was pandemonium. What the fuck? You dropped Karma? You guys were all begging for it.
Yeah. I think, make sure, I think, Seth came out and talked about it a little bit, like his mental health and kind of some of the things and some of the shit that people have been saying. And, just make sure, we're respecting what we have in front of us. And he's had a great long career, man. So make sure to show him some love, right? We don't need Scump fucking leaving because people are being fucking assholes, you know. But I think we could end it there. What's gonna happen to OpTic Scumpy? We'll find out next on the next episode of the Flake. Ben, let's get a fucking putt, my guy. You're going full screen.
You're going to putt. I don't have a mat.
You gotta be fucking kidding me, Ben.
Listen, what you think I'm gonna bring the putting mat on the plane?
Get this off my screen, dude.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. All right, then give me 10 push-ups.
I don't know if we're gonna do a push-up in here.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
You want 10 push-ups for me? I'll do 20. I'll have him the fuck out.
Yeah, let's get him. Join the Discord.
Oh Jesus, I gotta fucking hold on.
Are you committed now?
You got a matter on Discord, Ben?
You got it, bro. Do I got it on Discord?
I'm not. I don't think I do have Ben on Discord, but I'm coming.
Who actually are you, Ben? Like, I saw people say
you need to
put tech mask
on.
on.
I'm back in my
can I not?
place.
I'm using my webcam currently for streaming. Do I have to disable it?
Oh, you're streaming. You're streaming. All right, hold on. Wait a minute.
Oh, you're coming through?
Pull the stream.
All right, hold up. Okay, here I go. Hold on. How many you want? 20 or 10?
I want
I said 20. I said 20, so I'll give you 20.
You could do 20. I did about 20 before the stream. On stream, I did 20.
I'm just trying to think.
If I could do it, you sure could fucking do it. Then.
All right, you ready for me?
I'm ready. Go ahead. Do what you gotta do.
Hold up. I gotta take the fucking headset off.
Oh, look at the moccasins. Look at the fucking shorts with the high blue socks and the fucking moccasins. Who the fuck is this guy?
Okay.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Get that backpack out of the way, okay.
Let's see what you got here, Zin. Let's see what you got.
Guys also got the mat down for his roller chair. Respected, not messing up his floors.
All right, good form. Good form.
Wow, look at this, man.
Great work. Let's get away in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Anthony City. What's some push-ups for you guys? Look at those arms. Look at that fucking ass!
Pumping, baby.
Come on, look at the fuck! Come on, man.
Let's fucking go, Zin. How you feeling, Zinni? How you feeling after fucking?
I'm feeling good, man. I haven't worked out in weeks since I got home. I'm in quarantine.
That's what I'm saying. I fucking did 20 push-ups before the show. I felt like I was on top of the world. I was like, damn, I might need to start fucking working out more. You know,
working out is great, bro. When I was back in Jersey, getting back in the gym, there's no feeling like it, man.
No, not at all. But guys, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys coming on and watching the show, guys. We had an amazing show today. I had a blast, guys. It's good to be back. It's good to be back with some more Call of Duty. It's good to be back talking COD with you guys. I love doing the flank. I love seeing the energy in the chat. I haven't had energy in the chat like this in a couple weeks. So obviously we're gonna go in and play some games. I don't know if Zinni wants to play anything, but we're gonna stick around and play some games. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. We're close to 70,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're 5,000 away. So guys, hit that sub button. Make sure to go to anchor.fm/theflank. We upload it on all the audio sites over there, Spotify, Apple, all that other bullshit. Go check it out. All right. And as always, guys, we appreciate y'all. And thank you guys for watching. We'll be back again with another episode of The Flank tomorrow after the matches. And as always, it's your boy Zoomaa. Thank you for Methods for coming on, TacticalRab, Donnie, Temp.
Always a pleasure.
Of course, always a pleasure.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys coming on, man. But as always, guys, you already know the fucking vibe. We'll be live tomorrow with another episode of The Flank. Have a good day.
Have a good day.